Good evening and welcome to the Bay Area. A gorgeous Saturday here in Berkeley as we have a top 20 duel in the ACC. The NC State Wolfpack, for the first time ever, battle the Cal Bears in Haas Pavilion in a duel. Well, Cal will look to lean on Tanja Paulsson, the outstanding freshman from Sweden. She has been fantastic this year so far, and Ashley Knight, a vault specialist, one of the best in the country on that apparatus, leads the way for the Wolfpack. Well, hello everybody, along with Casey Magnuson. My name is Tim Swartz, and Casey, all the talk around Berkeley, it's about their new head coach, Geraldine Stack-Eden. They are so excited to have her here at Haas.
And she's excited too. This is a big moment for this program. She's diving in and focusing first on the foundation. Culture is what she talked to us about as her priority. She's focusing on her core pillars, as you see here on the screen, and that's what she's going to drive into this new year.
Well, Cal lost some fantastic gymnasts last year, some big shoes to fill. Annalise Numanacci, well, she's doing her job.
Oh, Annalise is stepping up. She's been in the wings waiting to shine, and now it is her chance. Typically, we've seen Annalise on one, maybe two events, but this season, they need her in the all-around right out the gate to fill those big losses from graduates and transfer students.
For 18th ranked NC State, Sanaya Thomas is just a powerhouse for the Wolfpack.
And Sanaya is also someone who was looking so strong her freshman year, but was out in the back half of the season with injury. She's already making a huge impact for this NC State team, putting up huge scores, 9-9 plus. She is a threat on all three of her events. They don't have an all-arounder, so they're gonna need her to perform today as well as she can.
Well, all 6 teams in the ACC in action in duels this weekend in conference action. And just a quick refresher, 6 gymnasts perform at each event. The top 5 scores will count, and we'll add up all of the numbers after the 4 apparatuses. The team with the highest score wins. Cal starts on the vault, and NC State will start on the bars.
And we are going to talk a little bit about Kim Landres here. 7 straight NCAA tournament appearances. She is wanting to bring this team back strong again this year, as opposed to Geraldine Stack-Eden on the other side of the mat today. She has been at NC State for a very long time. Her staff is consistent. They've been together. She said to us, it's like we can finish each other's sentences.
And she was a head coach at Illinois for 7 years, pardon me. This is her 9th season at NC State. She's made the NCAAs every year, and if you're not a math major like me, the one year that's missing was that COVID year. 34 straight appearances in the postseason for NC State. They have been such a consistent program.
And now that this new conference has formed, everyone is getting better and better. If you look on the numbers, we are so close in the ACC. All of those teams right by each other. Today is no exception. These teams really need to hit all of their routines.
Yeah, 5 of 6 teams in the ACC are ranked between 9 and 20, with Stanford leading the way at 9. It is a really tight league, and this is a pivotal duel in terms of the regular season championship in the ACC.
And as you can see here, some things have changed, but the hair has stayed. They're continuing the tradition of braids. For their first meet here at home, they put our Haas, classic Cal phrase. And I'm excited to see what other hair experiments they might bring to the floor this season.
We'll start on the vault with Annalise Numanacci, who has led the way for Cal. At a career best 9.85 at Best of the West earlier this year in Seattle. She opens things up here at home for the Bears.
They're looking for a strong lead off here. Yurchenko full, small hop back, but a solid start. That's what they want to see. Power, aggression, that's what you need to bring on vault. As we watch the replay here, watch for the stretch onto the table. Good block, clean form in the air. Just need to dial in that landing, and that's what these teams are trying to get better at each week. Those little details. It's the beginning of the season. You don't want to start perfect, but you want to be on your way to perfection.
Ava Myers, New Jersey native, starts things up for NC State on the bars at a 9.725 last week against Clemson.
Nice Maloney to start out there to a bail handstand. That has to be hit right at vertical or there will be a deduction. Pulling in for that double tuck, and she gets the landing. Starting them off with a stick. They are contagious. That is exactly what Coach Landress wants to see from her first athlete out on the floor.
First chance for Cal fans to see this talented freshman, Tanya Paulson. They're really excited about her here.
And they need her in these lineups. Again, I said there is a lot of opportunity for people to show up. She has come prepared. She is an older athlete. She's 22. She has elite experience, international experience. She brings a whole nother level of competitive spirit to this team, and it's only going to make everyone better.
Cal only returned 8 of their 24 routines, so it is a lot of routines available for Geraldine Stack-Eaton. First year as the head coach. She was hired at Minnesota when she was 25, 11 years with the Golden Gophers, and she was named head coach very late in the process, June 12th, 2025.
And she had a lot of work to do really quickly to prepare this team. Let's see how it has turned out for them. Tanya Paulson on the vault. Yurchenko full, she flares out at the end, just a little close in the hips. And when I say that, it's a little bend in the hips. That's what's gonna be the difference between sticking and having that hop back. So watch at the very end, great flare, but you can see a little piked step back, but still a solid vault. They're gonna take it, put it in the bank. Tanya Paulson here, also big day for her. She is going to be in the all-around, so she needs to pace herself, take it one routine at a time. That's what's going to get her through this meet.
Jenna Rusk from the San Antonio area of Texas on the bars. Had a 9.725 last week against Clemson, made her NC State debut in their first meet at Auburn.
And if you watch the beginning of this routine, it's going to be the same elements that Ava performed in the routine before her, doing that Maloney to a bail handstand. Maloney feet together, bail, a little flicker, but solid. Just a touch short of that vertical on that last handstand, holds it on the front, giant tuck. Bounce out of it, didn't get the stuck landing, but solid on the bar, no major deductions, just those little things, they add up. If we watch here, this was that bail to handstand, it has to hit at vertical. She did a good job, and it's also a place where the feet can come apart. But the dismount, this was the place where we saw a little bit of a problem. She was under-rotated. When you land with your chest down, you have to take that step forward. There's almost nothing you can do if you don't have the rotation.
Numannachi, Paulson, both 9.775. Here's the East Bay native, Casey Brown, the senior from right around Berkeley and Albany.
Casey has the potential to do a 1.5, but it's early in the season. Just doing the full today, but she is a vet, knows how to dial in the landing.
She's gone as high as 9.975 on the vault, and she gets the bare head.
So watch here, she had a little bit of pike, but she fought hard right through those toes. Chest brought up right away so she could get that stick.
Casey Brown hit on all 19 routines last year, was really key on the vault. Cal had another strong top 10 finish last season. They were national runners-up in 2024. They've been at least in the top 11 every single year since 2018. This has been one of the best programs in the country.
They have just built such a strong foundation. They haven't always had the largest roster, but they have athletes who can do the all-around sitting in the wings, and that's what we are seeing this season. Even though last year it was those 4 main all-around athletes competing week in, week out, Annalise Numannachi is doing the all-around. Casey Brown, she's doing unofficially the all-around today. She's going to be in the lineup for 2, exhibitioning for 2. They have a lot of depth, and freshman Sarah Lee is another one that is competing or exhibitioning on all 4 events.
So Rusk, we're told 9.65 after Myers 9.775. And here's Madeline Reed, a 5.2 senior from South Carolina.
This is our third Maloney from this lineup, but she connects it to a pack salto. When you connect two elements together, it adds to difficulty, gets you some bonus. Solid handstand there. Big full twisting double tuck, and she drills that landing. She was spotting that landing from a mile away. It almost floated in slow motion down to the floor. You can watch here that Maloney, a bit of a flicker of the legs, but she pulls it together nicely. The judges are on the side. Sometimes it's hard for them to see that, but this was the highlight. Big dismount. Really puts herself in a great position to land it by with all the height she has.
Maya Wiley, after the 9.85 from Brown. Wiley, the sophomore, had a 9.775 last week at Pitt on the vault.
And a hot back. She has a lot of power. Another athlete that in the past has competed a 1.5. The reason I keep bringing up these 1.5s is they start out of a 10.0 start value. The fulls that you're seeing right now only start out of a 9.95. So they're losing half a tenth off of the block. Big hop back there. She put herself in a good athletic stance for the stick, but just had too much power.
NC State just had Reed, the bar specialist, who had a 9.875 at Auburn to win the event. We'll await her score. We just got it, 9.8 for Reed. Here's Carolyn Volk, who hails from Holly Springs, North Carolina, just south of Raleigh. And she's had as high as a 9.9 on the bars last year against Ohio State.
And watch this release move that Caroline Volk does. It is big. We've seen all the between the bars. She's gonna do same bar release, very difficult. Huge ray, connects it right to the overshoot. Fighting for that last handstand. Double A, hips beautifully open. Sets herself up for a great stick. Now watch this release here. She puts her toes on the bar, has to basically do a sit-up, catch the bar again, huge release, and this dismount. Watch how open her body is. A lay out should be laid out. You should be as long as possible. She does that beautifully, and it sets her up for the stick.
Jaden Silvers on the vault. Wiley for the moment, 9.7. That would be the drop score for the moment.
And she hits the 1.5. I knew they had some waiting for me in the lineup. You saw a little bit of leg separation as she's going on the table. That's gonna be something the judges are looking for, but she gets the extra difficulty by doing the 1.5. So watch, as she reaches back, the legs come apart, she pulls them together nicely, finishes strong, still fairly centered. It's going to be a great vault that they continue to improve upon this season. Just the little details, but that's what we like to see.
Cal coming into this weekend, 25th in the country on the vault. Bars have been really strong for Cal. They're 6th in the country. That'll be their next event. NC State's been very solid all around, ranked between 9th and 29th in the nation. And on the bars, they're 20th in the country, scoring 48.95 each of the last 2 weeks. El Hadrick, a junior from Durango, Colorado, near the four corners of Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico, and Colorado. You been there?
I'm born and raised in Colorado.
Oh!
Not a lot of gymnasts out in Durango that I know of. But Hadrick is excellent on this event. They have brought back the whole back third of this lineup, same as last season. Gorgeous toe point on that release move. It's a straddle Jaeger. You can see she's really extending her lines all the way through her tippy toes. Great visibility on that full twisting double back. She could see the floor. That's how you get the stick. They are building a lot of momentum. Now look at this straddle Jaeger. You've got to be flexible and strong to do gymnastics, and that's a move that really shows it off. And the dismount, of course, it's the last thing the judges remember. And she left no doubt there.
They all had a 9.875 at Reynolds Coliseum against Clemson to co-win the bars last week. Kyan McHugh was a real key member of this Cal team, especially on the vault. She's one of the best in the country.
And just a little hop forward, but that's the right type of mistake they want to see. Her chest was up, put herself in the right place for success. Watch this replay here. Kyan's a little bit cleaner than we saw Jaden. Legs came together faster. Smaller hop. Great vault from Kyan.
Kyan won the event last week at Pitts. And she's gone as high as 9.95 on the vault, so she is very key for Coach Stack Eaton and company on that apparatus. And Silver's a real strong 9.825, so this might be one of Cal's best scores in the vault this year. Last week they were a 48.65, and they're way better so far today. Katie Harper, Columbus, Ohio native. Harper last year was all ACC 2 years ago on the bars, had a 9.85 against Clemson, a career best last week.
Really aggressive opening, big gainer there. I love the variety of the back half of this lineup with their releases. You saw the feet just come apart a little on that bail to handstand. Winding up for the dismount, another double A, almost gets the stick. She's happy with it, knows there's some details she could clean up there, but a solid timeout for them on bars. Watch this dismount one more time. Really tapping into the dismount, strong, stretched body line, just shy of the stick.
See the numbers, 49.075 for Cal. That is their best on the vault so far this year. It's an exhibition here. Sarah Lee. Those exhibitions, how important are they for these athletes to compete in them?
Well, especially for these underclassmen and athletes that have not had a lot of competitive time, it's so important for them to get on the mat and see how they compete under pressure. You can do well in practice, but in competition, it's a totally different beast. Waiting here for the last score. So far, it's looking good. You know, they're not quite hitting that potential. You can see that reflected in the scores. They were all solid routines from both sides, but just enough little mistakes to add up to keep them under that 9.8 mark. They're looking for at least 9.8. I think everyone is capable in these lineups, top to bottom, shooting for a 9.9 on a good day for those best athletes.
For Geraldine Stack Eaton, she's hiding somewhere behind there. There she is. She was talking to us about the little details and the tents here and there. What are some of the things that you noticed about the vault that maybe Cal going forward could try to improve?
So on vault, obviously the landings, it's you're only doing one skill on vault, so the landing becomes huge glaring when you don't stick it, but also that form on the top of the table. We always think about the back half of the vault, but the way you look, the way you block off the table is just as important. The judges can deduct in the pre-flight and the post-flight.
And we do have the new head coach of the California Golden Bears, Geraldine Stack Eaton, with us. Coach, first of all, welcome to the West Coast. Welcome to Berkeley. What's it been like to come out and compete with your team for the first time here at Haas?
Thank you. It's been really great, very energetic. The environment has been really welcoming, and we are just really excited to have a great rotation on the first event.
Awesome. And looking back at that first event, we saw some 1.5s coming out. I know there's some more in the back, but what do you reflect upon that first performance of the day from your team?
Yes, overall I think we had much better landings than we have in the previous meets, and we're continuing to, hopefully add more 1.5s in our lineup, but ultimately just want to have those great high amplitude fulls with good landings.
A transition from athletes to now coach. You had such a great career at Alabama, winning a couple individual championships as well as a couple of team national championships. What's it like for the first time to be a head coach out there on the floor?
It's pretty surreal, but it's been a lot of hard work coming to this point, and I'm just really excited to continue this journey with this amazing team and a lot of great young women, a lot of talent on the team as well. So just looking forward to the rest of the season.
Thanks so much, Coach. You are looking great out there. Best of luck on the rest of your meet.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So a season best for Cal, 49.075 on the vault. For NC State, that was their lowest score on the bar so far, 48.875. Casey Brown, the East Bay native, excited to compete in front of her hometown fans. Cal. After the first rotation, slight lead for Cal here on a gorgeous late Saturday afternoon in the Bay Area. Cal, 49.075 on the vaults, and NC State led by a Colorado native, 9.875 from El Hadrick with a 48.875 for the Wolfpack on the bars. Any impressions for that first rotation?
Well, as I said off the top, it's already close. It's just, 2/10. That's one step on two routines, and that's all it takes to get you back in the game or out of it. So going into the second rotation, I think everyone is thinking about details. How can we be 1% better than that last rotation? Above 49 is what everyone's looking for as like that baseline.
It was a season best for Cal on the vaults. They got a pair of 9.85s from Kylie Hugh and Casey Brown. That led the way for Cal, and Geraldine Stack Eden, who is the national champion and the floor in 2011 and 2012 on the beam. In both of those years, the Alabama Crimson Tide were the team national champions.
And as you talk about those two vaults, one was a full, one was a 1.5. So we're looking at execution versus difficulty. First up here is Casey Brown. She just does the Yurchenko full, but she gets height, amplitude, and most importantly, nails the landing. Watch that stick. Boom. Now to contrast, Kyan Mayhew. She did the Yurchenko 1.5. It's the 10-0 start value that they want. You got to start doing them early if you're going to perform in postseason. She is a veteran, and bam, just a small hop, a little bit of things she could clean up, straighter legs, and that's going to put her in the 9.9 plus range.
Mayhew all ACC last year on the vault, picking up where she left off. Next rotation after this, Cal a slight lead here at Haas over NC State. NC State heading over to the vaults. Cal heading over to the bars. Both these schools excel on these events. NC State 12th in the country on the vault. Lauren Wright, a vault specialist, had a 9.8 last week against Clemson. She leads things off for the Wolfpack.
And what I love about this NC State lineup is they have a lot of variety. You're going to see some 10-0 start values that you didn't see from Cal. Lauren Wright here with a great lead off Yurchenko full. Really clean in the air. I talk about that layout position. That's so important on these vaults. Watch it here. Reaching back, block, barely laid out. Just a slight pike at the end, which put her in the position to hop back. But a good start for this Wolfpack.
Cal has had, speaking of good starts, I mean, they had an incredible start on the bars. 49.425. They scored in Seattle at the Best of the West. They are 6th in the country. And it'll be a strong start here for the Bears.
This is one of those events for Cal where it was so tough to make the lineup in the past few years that there were some 9.9 plus bar routines sitting in their back pockets. This year, we're getting to see them. Mickey Adorinto is one of those. Huge release. Great aggressive handstand position. Really fighting to show vertical. Double front. Difficult one to land. When you do that front dismount, we call it a blind landing. You can't see the ground below you until you're hitting it. Look at that big release. That's what you love to see, and connects it right to the overshoot. That's how you build those valuable bonus points. You don't just get to start from a 10-0. You have to earn it. And this double front, you see just going a little far back from the bar. Her weight was pulling her way, but a good start again. More details from both these teams are going to be looking for the rest of the rotation.
On the vault here, freshman from Florida, Emerson Fisk. Golden City Gymnastics. Just around Tampa after the 9.75 for Wright.
Yurchenko full. Larger step back there. You saw a big bound. And when we're looking at these steps, not all steps are created equal. The bigger the step, the bigger the deduction. Great power, though. Love to see that from a freshman. He took that bound back, fought to hold control. That's something that could easily, you get on your heels, you're going to roll out of it, and you're going to get a fall. So a good fight from her to stay on her feet.
Previously only on the floor, so that's her first ever vault as a collegiate. Not bad.
And she'll keep building. Again, these underclassmen, their first time out. It's a big travel meet for them too. A lot of things to adjust. It's good to see those aggressive mistakes where you're doing too much power. Coaches want to see that. That's easier to rein in and refine than the opposite.
Maya Wiley. We await this score for Atarinto. Wiley, last week, 9.85 against Pitt on the bars. Week before, the Sprouts in the Salt Lake City area, 9.875. That was a career best.
And Maya's been competing on vault and bars for Cal. That's not a common combination you see from an event specialist. One is power, one is finesse. That's why she's a great athlete. She can do it all.
We just got the score from Atarinto. It's a 9.75. Here's Wiley.
Good handstand position. Keeps her feet glued together in that pack salto. So difficult to do. Van Leeuwen, ultra difficult connection move. Double layout, and she fought for that landing. You can see her bend and absorb. That's what coaches want to see. That's how you get the stick. She wasn't actually in the perfect position, but because she really let the landing land itself, she absorbed it. That's how she got the stick. Now watching here at the beginning of her routine, nice handstand. That Van Leeuwen, so hard, you're going backwards, you're twisting and reaching. Double A, you can see she rebends, make sure that her body is aligned. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
So Fisk in 9.65 in her first ever collegiate vault. And Autumn Raritan, another freshman from Columbus, Ohio, had a 9.75 on the vault last week.
Front handspring, front pike half. Such a unique vault. We're gonna see another one in this lineup, but what you're looking for is the height. Sometimes on these front entry vaults, it's hard to get the same amplitude you do on a Yurchenko. You can see a little close to the table. The judges can take off for lack of distance, but to see a freshman coming in with a 10.0 start value, you gotta love to see that.
A really highly touted freshman. ACC Newcomer of the Year watch list, was the state champion in the bar and the beam in Ohio. And they just flashed up the score on our score tower. A 9.87 or 9.85, pardon me, for Wiley. And Annalise Numinace has been fantastic this year. It was her main event last year on the bars. She had a 9.95 at the ACC Championships. And here is the junior from Brooklyn.
Great Maloney there, right back to the pack salto. You saw her feet stay together on both of those. And those are two skills we see a lot of. She has more dynamic in them than most athletes. She is a powerful bar worker. Let's bring it to the dismount. Chest up, gets the stick, and holds it about 20 seconds longer than she needs to just to prove it to the judges. That was a confident bar routine from Annalise. You can see here, feet stay together. She really works the bars. You can see them bending. She is getting power out of every movement, every swing. Great handstand. Giant into that. Beautiful dismount, stuck. And of course, Coach Lazan loves it too.
Well, Lazan, the last time we saw her here at Haas Pavilion, she pulled out a couple of 10s last year. Here's Ava Myers, sophomore from New Jersey, at a 9.725 on the vault last week against Clemson.
Yurchenko full. Ooh, that was a nice vault. Just the smallest of repositioning of her feet. Similar to Casey Brown we saw in the last rotation, where a very open, flat, rotating position. The judges are looking for that, especially on these fulls. Good block. Open chest up. And she just left it down a second too long, which took that little bounce. Clean vault for Ava Myers.
And Myers had a 9.775 on the bars, and we'll see what she gets on the vault. Annalise Numanache, we're waiting on her score. It's a 9.875 for Numanache. Here's Sage.
And she starts off really showing off that first handstand. This is a short and efficient routine. Double out, small movement of the foot. If you blink, maybe they missed it. But I love how efficient I'd call this routine. There's very few skills, very few places to get deducted. And when you nail landings like that, it's gonna set you up for success.
Southern California native, Sage, last week 9.8 on the bars. Well, here's the athlete we've been waiting for, Sanaya Thomas. And people in North Carolina, East Coast, they'll get that major to use meteorology with that storm across the country. Here's Sanaya.
Just needs a touch more control. Sanaya has so much power, but what I love about her vault is she twists really late. The earlier you twist, the more likely you are to go off track, off center, which can be a deduction. So she waits for it. She gets a great block, pulls in for the twist, a quick twist. Just needs to get that landing. We'll watch this one more time. Watch her reach back, wait for the twist. Really fast for a full on the twist because she knows how to flip.
Opened with a 9.85 at Auburn. It's just been dual so far for NC State, and this is what they're looking for on the stick, Casey.
Well, we used to call it a college stick, where you could kind of pretend your step was a celebration. Now, the athletes have to hold that position. They do not get the opportunity to do some creative gymnastics cover-ups. They've got to hold it, and they've got to count 1 1,000, 2 1,000. You got to go a little bit above and beyond, or the judges are going to take off.
Kim Landers, one of the all-time greats in the history of Iowa State, a Hall of Famer there. She was the 1997 Female Athlete of the Year at Iowa State. Thomas, 9.825. So some solid scores for NC State on the vault. Sage with a 9.8 for Cal on the bars.
And you can tell that both of these teams are going to their comfort zone. Those scores are rising. They're looking excited, and Casey Brown's ready to go up.
And one of the top 25 in the country on the bars. Here's the East Bay native.
Another huge pack salto. Casey is a taller athlete, which really lends itself to those long lines. Fighting so hard for that handstand. That will be quite the deduction. Rattle just a little bit on the dismount. Anytime you see the athletes bend their arms, it's a sign. You see just that bend. She lost all of her momentum in that moment. It took so much strength to even get to a handstand off of that. I'm so impressed with that recovery, but it will be a score they're looking to drop.
One of the best in the country, Ashley Knight, 14th in the country on the vault. Greensboro, North Carolina native. That's where the ACC championships will be this year.
Front pike half, big. She holds on to that landing. Maybe a little bit of the right foot, I'll have to see. But what she does well on this vault is she gets a lot of distance. She really knows how to do that half twist quick. Boom. You can see a lot farther. That little crease in the mat, that's where Autumn was landing. She is about 2 feet farther than her.
She's the 2024 champion in vault in the ACC. Just the third year we've had the ACC back. Stanford and Cal joining the ACC, plus Clemson adding the program in 2024 joins NC State, North Carolina, and Pitt to form the six-school ACC. You know, talking to coaches from different schools in this league, everyone was so excited to see the ACC, a power conference, re-add women's gymnastics.
And they have really impressed across the nation. There is some difficult conferences for gymnastics, and they're right at the top. If you look at that top 20, top 25, they've got as many schools as any other conference in the nation.
They have 5 of the top 20 in the ACC. Brown a 9.625. And here's the Swedish freshman, Tanja Paulsson.
Her gymnastics is just exquisite. The form, the lines, you can really tell those elite athletes have spent hundreds of thousands of hours, not just doing the skills, but perfecting the details. Step back on that landing, on that pirouette before the dismount. She didn't finish on top of the bar. That's, first of all, a place where the judges will deduct, but second of all, it makes it really hard to tap into your dismount. It's gonna feel a little off, so she fought for that, almost got the suck, which was so impressive. You see here, that pirouette, she went over really quick. It should have finished right on top. Almost nails it, and even with that miss on the pirouette, but everything before that, picture perfect.
What did she, what a debut she had. 9.925 at the Best of the West in Seattle. She won the bars in her first ever collegiate meet.
And that's that, like, she is a freshman, but she does not compete like a freshman. She has a ton of experience. She's coming in and already making a huge impact.
NC State, as a team, they're going to go 48.9 on the vault, coming off a 49.075 against Clemson. So a solid score for NC State. Cal, as we wait the Paulsson score, then we can give you their bar score. We'll step aside for a moment. When we come back, we'll give you the score from Paulsson, and we will update the team scores. Pretty even after 2 rotations, a tight one here in Berkeley. ACC this year in terms of head coaches, Justin Howell, Elizabeth Crandall Howell, they were the co-head coaches at Cal, and they've gone over to Clemson, and now Geraldine Stack-Eaton, the new head coach here at Cal. She was 11 years as the assistant coach for the Minnesota Golden Gophers, and one of the coaches that's been in the ACC for a few years now, Kim Landress, 9th year with the Wolfpack. Just overall, the ACC, 5 teams between 9 and 20. It's so tight. How fun is it to be in this conference?
Oh, I mean, it's super fun. The competition is great. Love going against the ACC teams every weekend. Had a great one last weekend, and really looking forward to the rest of this competition as well.
And Coach, you talked about the details. That's what's going to separate these teams. How'd you feel about your team's performance in these first 2 rotations?
You know, we came out on bars and we stuck 4 of our landings. So we've been working hard on that. Handstands were great. Really proud of that bar performance. Carried that over to vault. Lauren started us off. Once again, great vault. Had some other great performances as well. So really happy about the way this is trending.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Go Pack!
You got to get that in there, and the Wolfpack sign. Well, it's a tight one here at Haas Pavilion. Cal with a slight lead over NC State. 3rd rotations, NC State on the floor. Cal on the beam coming up next. Well, they're going to turn over the court here at Haas Pavilion. We have the Battle of the Bay on the ACC Network as Cal hosts Stanford. Coverage starts at 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 Pacific. The 106th all-time matchup between the 2 programs. Cal swept the season series last year, and Stanford won the first of 2 matchups this year. Also available on the all-new ESPN app. ACC dual meet here in women's gymnastics. A slight lead for Cal after 2 rotations. And the Bears looking, as they have this year, very strong on the bars.
And here we see Sanaya Thomas on the vault. She does a Yurchenko full, but it is powerful, it is clean. She went 9.825 for that, leading her team as we expected. And for Cal on the bars, Numan Achi, of course, showing up when they needed her. Great bars, huge dismount. duck landing like it is easy breezy.
A 9.875 for Numanate. She will tie El Hadrick to win that event. NC State with one of the winners in that event, Cal with one of them. Sanaya Thomas and NC State, they're 18th in the country, and we talked about it with Coach Landris, and we talked about it off the air, Casey. I mean, this is anybody's league. 5 teams so tight here in the ACC.
I mean, we saw it last season. The regular season champs were not the end of the season champs, so they're all showing up really strong right now. These head-to-head dual meets is really where you're going to show your muster. Who is the one that can show up and perform when you've got the other team in the room?
Last night, UNC defeated Pitt. It's a Saturday, we get NC State and Cal, and then tomorrow you'll be across the bay, a big duel between Stanford and Clemson.
Yes, the Crandall Howells will be coming back to the Bay. We'll see how they perform, if they can survive that winter storm and get here to even compete. But today, things are close. We'll see how they can drive it home in the back half of this meet.
Here are the gymnasts of the week. It'll be on ACC Network Extra. Case will be over at Maples Pavilion. A chance to watch one of the best in the country, Anna Roberts.
Well, Anna Roberts is no, newbie, and she is showing that. She got a 9.975. That was basically one judge thinking there was one tiny thing wrong with your routine. She is a 10-0 competitor, and they are going to want her to show up with that again.
Yeah, that'll be fun tomorrow. ACC Network Extra, 5 on the East Coast and 2 here on the West Coast. Number 9 Stanford and number 16 Clemson. Ella Cesario, one of the stars for Cal over the last few years. She is at Clemson, so that'll be fun to see her compete. As we're right in the thick of ACC play, it is really fun, all the duels that we'll see. Cal next week will face off with Stanford, and then they'll go to Clemson themselves. I mean, so many miles for Cal. They've already been to Seattle, Salt Lake City area, Pitt. They'll go to Clemson, South Carolina. They'll go to Dallas, Fort Worth. They'll have the ACCs in Greensboro. Travel challenge for a lot of these teams in the ACC.
Well, all these teams are getting comfortable with it. The ACC is kind of, I call it the All-Coast Conference unofficially, because you're going to have to make that trek at least once, probably multiple times. But a little adversity is not a bad thing. That sets you up. The coaches also say this time with their athletes when they're traveling is actually sometimes when they get the best bonding. When you're forced into a plane or in an airport somewhere to figure out some sort of game to play with each other, that's when you really make those connections, build that trust, and it shows on the floor.
Sage Melkonen on the beam at a 9.725 last week across the country at Pitt.
Sage starting off here, this leadoff position, you'll hear it over and over. So important to set the tone on every event, but especially on beam. Beam is a mental event, if anything. Works through that ring lead. Split 3/4, nicely landed. When you land in that cross position, so you're facing the side, it's even more difficult. Your toes hang off.
Melkonen a 9.8 on the bars earlier today.
Finishing up with her dismount, 1.5. Just the hop forward.
You talk about the different athletes that have stepped up for Cal. Sage Melkonen last year was just exhibitions.
She did not compete at all, and she's been doing the all-around. They could put her in on every event, but it actually shows so much trust to have her up first on the beam. That's something that you don't just get. It's not given. You have to earn it.
Well, on the floor, Kim Landris and company have been so good. One of the top 10 teams in the country in NC State in terms of scoring. It's their strongest event, 9th in the country. They had a 49-3 last week. And here's Katie Harper to lead things off for the Wolfpack.
You'll hear that wolf howl to start off every routine, so listen for it. One and a half front lay. You're allowed to lunge, but if that back foot slides, that's where the judges are going to take a deduction. She was right on the edge there. Another leap combination. You know, the tumbling has been the star of floor traditionally, but the entire sport has moved to doing basically 2 passes unless you're doing a little bit above and beyond. So these leaps need to be difficult as well to get the difficulty value to start from a 10-0. Rudy really crunches in there, but works through it. We're gonna look back at that last pass. She was just a little under-rotated, both in the flip and the twist. You can see her legs almost buckled. Good fight to stay up and, you know, do as minimal deductions as you can.
So Harper leading things off for NC State on their best events. Okona a 9.75, and here's Sarah Lee. Been on the beam every event so far this year at a 9.525 at Pitt last week.
Front aerial connected to that split leap, split jump, so good. You have to continue motion to get those connections. Solid on that flight series. She's working through this routine well. A few flickers here and there where you can see maybe she's a touch nervous. This is their first home meet. It's her first home meet as a Cal Bear, but she works through it, gets the landing. That is a strong beam routine from a freshman.
Cal 22nd coming into this weekend on the beam. They've been pretty solid.
And you watch here, here's that difficult flight series. It's the place where you're gonna see the most falls, but she was so solid. And then the gainer full off the side. Ooh, just a moment of doubt. She could have got that stick, but she'll take it.
Harper a 9.775 on the floor. Here's Jenna Russ. One thing Kim Andrus told us to look for, this is a united team. They have a lot of passion. They're loud. She said, watch how they interact. They're in it to win it. Lots of sideline action, especially here on the floor.
Starts off with her leaps. You almost always see athletes starting with the tumbling pass, get it out of the way, but she starts with those jumps. Double pike, holds onto the landing. Switch ring half. Just one skill, but very difficult. Whenever you release the head, it adds difficulty. Front lay, front fold. You can see her just kind of hopping out of that. You're looking for a controlled landing. Those will count as a place where the judges can deduct. Another ring position. You have to be flexible both in your legs and your back to hit the ring. Solid performance from Jenna Rusk.
Yeah, she's a sophomore, but she didn't compete last year. Made her NC State debut at Auburn. You see the pass right here.
Going in for that double pike. Fighting for that landing. Make sure she doesn't slide. Last pass here is where she just had a little slide of that back foot. The judges will see that.
So we'll see her score on our tower in a bit. Pair of 9.75s for Cal to start the beam. Here's Tanya Paulson from Malmo, Sweden.
And even from that mount, you can see the lines. There is a lot of overlap in gymnastics and ballet. When athletes have that super extended toe point, you can tell they've had a lot of dance training in addition to in the gym. Connects her series there. Even the fingers setting up for this side aerial. Every detail accounted for. Works through the combination. You saw she let her shoulder drop just a little. If the shoulders go to the side, it's so easy for the rest of the body to follow, but she worked through it. Gainer full off the side, step back. But they are happy to see her in on beam. When she hits to her potential, that is a routine that can go 10-0. There's no built-in deductions. The way she does her gymnastics is flawless. Right there, you saw just like a second hesitation. A less experienced athlete might lose the connection altogether, and then you wouldn't start out of a 10-0, but she fought through it, worked through it. It's all about finessing.
Yeah, that was her first time competing on the beam. She'll be in the all-around for the first time as a collegiate tonight. Emerson Fisk after the 9-8 from Rusk. Fisk, a floor specialist, 9.825 on the plains at Auburn in her first ever performance as a collegiate.
Starting off with another double pike. Good control on that. Chest was maybe down a little on the landing, but she brought it up. And you can see her teammates on the side. Like we were talking about, they are getting into it. This is where you really physically can feel the energy of your teammates. They're right there on the edge of the floor. Lining up for this X pass. Oh, missed time. She did not have anything to work with there. I am amazed she ended up on her feet. Timing is so critical, and the other thing is every floor is a little different. So when you see those combination passes, it might be two easier skills, but connecting them is the part that is really hard to do. We're gonna watch here, see her legs just kind of buckled. She was meaning to do a front layout, had great air awareness to tuck and land on her feet. Just the smallest details can make you go awry.
Nikki Adarindo. Last week a 9.825 at Pitt on the beam.
Very solid on that front toss. Nikki is controlled, very methodical in her beam work. And it shows in that solid, that handspring layout step out. You know, everyone has a little different personality, tempo, and pacing. Leap there was good. Could have been a little more extended. The judges look for a full 180, and it has to be 180 to the naked eye, so that means you got to go 200.
Mickey, she's a senior. She only had a few routines coming into this year, but she's just another athlete at Cal who's really stepped up.
Yeah, just like bars, beam has typically been a very difficult lineup to make on the Cal gymnastics team. She has done a lot of exhibitions. I've seen a ton of great training videos. It's awesome to see her out there competing this year. You could see Coach Stackey and even giving her that final correction about the landing. Like they said, every detail. It's like you come off the mat, you're already getting the corrections for next time. That's gymnastics.
A Fiska, a 9.525, so NC State's going to hope to drop that score. As here's Autumn Raridan. We saw her score a 9.7 on the vaults earlier on today.
Starts with the front lay, Rudy into the split jump. All of that bounding, like I said, difficult to time. She had no problems. Good height in those leaps. Would love to see the front leg a little higher in that wolf position. It should be completely horizontal. Before freshman, Raridan is performing with a lot of confidence on her events on vault. Here, we're going to see her later on beam too.
Raridan 9.825 in each of her first two performances here on the floor this season.
Great control on that last pass. The team is loving it. We're gonna go back and look at this pass. Front layout. Rudy, split jump. So difficult to connect. She does another combination. Back 1.5 to front lay. Very clean in that layout position. It's easy for those legs to come apart, but that's what makes the difference.
After the 9.8 from Atarinto, here's Abby Scanlon. She's been a beam specialist here at Cal, and she had to overcome so many injuries to get out there.
It has been a journey, but it was worth the wait. Abby, again, one of those athletes that's been waiting in the wings. Last year, she kind of came in out of nowhere and was hitting out of the gate 9.9 plus. She is so solid on this event. Oh, and just did not have enough lift on that layout step out. Had no chance to stay on. Fights through that leap combination. Now the thing is, you never know which routine's gonna count, so you cannot give up after a fall because you don't know what's coming after you. Just the dismount, 1.5. Fight, 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 tippy toe landing. She makes up for it. Everything else so consistent there. As you can see, this series here was a place where you can have a little bobble. She worked through the bobble as she's jumping. That's the type of finesse you have to have as a gymnast. And fight, fight, fight. That's what I loved about the routine. She fought until the very, very end.
And she's overcome so much just to get out there and compete. And everybody here at Cal is very happy to see her out there. Allie Hadrick has had a really nice meet so far. She won the bars at 9.875. Here's she on the floor.
Another combination pass front lay to a Rudy. That's a front layout with 1.5 twists.
She scored a 9-9 at the ACC Championships last year, where NC State finished 3rd.
Works around quickly in that Wolf 1.5. Another combination pass to finish. She has a 1.5 front lay, no problems. That was the type of controlled landing we're looking for. She took the step because she wanted to, not because she had to.
That was her first time competing on the floor this season, but as I mentioned, she scored a 9-9 at the ACCs last year.
You can see that combination pass. This one had a little too much bounce, that tippy toe in the front dragging back. But on this pass, no problems. Front layout really slowly, beautifully steps into that lunge.
SoCal hoping to drop the 9.25 from Scanlon. Annalise Numinacci's had an outstanding meet so far. 9.775 on the vault. She won the bars at 9.875. And here's Annalise on the beam.
When you're in that anchor position, you either have the luxury of knowing everyone hit or the pressure of knowing it's down to you. Let's see how she handles this pressure. Again, she's not used to being in the all-around. Having to be focused the entire meet is a difficult thing, and beam is a place where the focus is going to show.
She won the beam last week against Pitt.
Really fought to keep that on the beam. You have to be aggressive on beam. If you doubt yourself for a moment, it's gonna show. She's coming back, give herself a nice breather. That low choreography was the perfect moment. The ring leap is a place you lose sight of the beam. It's so easy to just come off without even knowing it happened. Just needs to fight through this dismount here. Save the lineup. A little bounce, but they will take that to the bank. Annalise Numinacci showing up like a veteran, exactly what they need in the back half. See this dismount here. You got to be aggressive. Take it up. You saw the legs come apart just a little, so she wasn't in the perfect position for the landing. But like I said, this beam routine was about grit. That was one of Coach Zach Eaton's words, grit, and I saw a lot of grit there.
So Hadrick ends up with a 9.825, and here's one of the featured performances of the day. Sanaya Thomas, a 9.9 last week, sealing the win at Reynolds Coliseum in Raleigh on the floor last week against Clemson. Here she is on the floor, one of the top competitors in the country.
And I want you to soak in this opening choreography. She's given us the look. And now down to business. Her first pass. Double pike. So controlled on the landing. So confident. Even on the leap, she has amplitude well beyond 180. No question mark there. Those are the details that separate good from great. Second pass, again, so controlled on the landing. She even has a third pass. 1.5 front lay. Fights through that one. Good finesse, so strong. Solid performance from Sanaya Thomas.
9th in the country on floor. An electric athlete.
And part of what sets her apart is she has 3 passes. Like I said, it's almost an anomaly now in gymnastics. So much control there on the double pike. And as she works through this last one, you can see she almost buckled her knees, but said, no, no, not today. I'm going to work through this, no problems.
Only was able to compete in 5 meets last year, and she was 2-time ACC Newcomer of the Week. I mean, she has incredible potential. Annalise Numinacci at 9.725. That's the final score from Cal. We'll get Thomas's score after the break. NC State, another strong performance on the floor, and it has been tight all day here in Berkeley. Final rotations coming up. This is ACC Gymnastics on ACC Network. Well, we told you it was going to be tight. We weren't lying to you. 10th lead for 10-point lead for Cal through 3 rotations here at Haas in this top 20 duel. Well, Monday night, the Huddle crew will reveal this season's ACC football schedule. They'll break down each team and look at key weeks and specific matchups. Coverage of the annual 2-hour special begins at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific on the ACC Network and ESPN2, with the second hour only on ACC Network. Both hours available on the ESPN app. New head coach here at Cal, not just for women's gymnastics, but for football as well. Tosh Lupoi, who is an assistant at Alabama, the school of Geraldine Stack Eaton. So it'll be interesting to see what the Bears are this year. So it'll be a flashback to last year at the big meets. Cal was tight with Stanford. They needed a big performance from Maya Lazan on the floor, and they got a 10.
You love to see it. That's the energy we want here in Haas Pavilion. And Maya is the one to bring it on and off the floor.
And Maya, we were talking to you last year, almost in that same spot after you hit that 10 against Stanford. You have so many amazing memories here at Cal. That one of the best ones?
Yeah, it had to be one of the best ones. I mean, that was really a cherry on top of one of our best home meets here. So that was a really exciting and special moment.
Now you're back here not wearing a leotard tonight. What's it like, your first home meet as a coach?
Yeah, it's really exciting. I mean, it's different being on the other side of things, but I've been learning a lot the last couple months, and I'm really excited to be out here on the floor again at Haas and just be here to support the girls and support the, Cal community. So I'm excited to be here and just be here for Team 52.
Now, what's it like being on the other side on the day-to-day? Do you have the itch to do any gymnastics in the gym when you're in there practicing?
Yeah, I definitely do. I think it's going to take a while for that to go away. I think it'll really just be a part of me for the rest of my life, but I'm excited. I still get to be in the gym and support the girls, cheer them on, and see the amazing things that they get to bring to the table.
Yeah, Maya, I understand too. Coach was telling us you're up in Seattle doing some medical work and kind of life after gymnastics. What's that looking like for you?
Yeah, so it's really awesome being here, and I get to combat sort of both my career going into medicine after this, but getting to, support the Bears in this season. I'm doing some volunteering in the emergency department right now, and I'm doing an internship with sports medicine at Cal Athletics. So being able to combat both and staying in it with a sport that I love and a community I love is really just the best part of these next couple months.
Well, Maya, it's great to see you back.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Maya Lazan, one of the all-time greats here at Cal, the ACC Gymnast of the Year last year. It's another tight one. Cal, a slim lead over NC State. Final rotations coming up after this. A 1/10 lead for Cal as they head to the floor. NC State to the beam for the final rotation on a gorgeous Saturday afternoon here in Berkeley. So it's a little bit of a delay here, Casey, because the long exhibition floor for NC State. So how do these teams and these athletes stay focused?
Well, it's hard when you're like getting ready to go, and they were waiting for one judge over on beam. We had some exhibitions that went. You have to wait until all the scores are finalized before you move on to that next rotation. So what you got to do is just stay loose, stay warm, keep your body moving, but don't get distracted by the little things.
And do you think these teams these athletes are cognizant that this is such a tight rotation up in the stadium in Haas Pavilion? We've got some scores up. You're looking up there. Do you think they're peaking?
I think it depends on the athlete. If it was me, I'm doing a little peak. I'm super competitive, but I think most of them are keeping their heads down. What their coaches want them to do is to focus on their gymnastics, do what they can do, control what you can.
Take a quick look at that last third rotation. It was a Cal with another strong performance from Paulson, this time on the beam.
And like I said, there were some visible mistakes here, but everything she did was perfectly performed. That's how she still led with the highest score of this rotation. She does gymnastics beautifully. Beam is the best place to watch that. I'm so grateful that I'm here to see it in person.
And Paulson in the all-around for the first time in her collegiate career. Top 10 of the country, NC State on the floor. They did not disappoint.
And I think that opening choreography is so typical of Sanaya. She is just serious, focused, and gets the job done. No exception here on the floor, performing every week and tonight.
NC State and Cal, so tight. And that's kind of what both coaches told us. It's about a tenth here, maybe a half of a tenth here, just in terms of how they want to increase their score totals.
Yeah, it's all of those little details add up, but these teams have been pretty consistent, at least performing at the same level. There's some mistakes, no major things. Cal had to work through that fall, which was the biggest part that they had to deal with. But for them, it's kind of in Cal's ownership at the end of the day. They are 40th on floor, but they can do so much better than that number represents.
Okay, so we're just kind of starting up the season. It's meet number 4 for Stanford, number 3 for NC State. Here's some of the postseason dates. On the bottom, that's the ACC Championship. We'll have an for you on ACC Network, March 21st. The selection special on ESPN2. What are some of the big picture items? One of them is right there, ABC, again, for the national championship. But what are some of the big picture items that you're excited for this year?
Well, I'm excited for this new NQS, honestly, because in the past, you could only count a few meets. You have so many meets in the year. You just hit a couple good ones, and you're ranked really high going into that postseason. This year, a lot more meets count. So these athletes have to do their best every single time. It makes each of these meets matter so much more.
Now, Geraldine Stack-Eaton told us she really liked it because it rewards consistency. Geraldine, did not grow up in the Bay Area. She grew up in the Philadelphia area, but she grew up coming every summer to the Bay Area with her mom and her brother, sourdough bowls, clam chowder, seals. That's what she remembers, and she was kind of just, she was hired, we mentioned earlier, June 12th, very late in the process. As Stack Eaton came out, she was in an Airbnb. She was kind of moving her life with her husband, Rich, but she's really found a home here at Cal, and she loves it here.
Oh, and what she told us, like I said at the top, the culture is what she's focusing in on. So she left her husband at home. She said, I got to get out there. I got to be there in person and start making these connections. She came out, did some camps. She was not shy to really make this her new home.
Yeah, Coach Stack Eaton. It also helps. She's living like 2 doors down from her cousin, she was telling us. So that's a lot of fun as well. Casey, here's some of those rule updates for this year.
Yeah, so I talked about that NQS calculation. There's a lot of things that go into it, but the takeaway is more meets count, which means you have to be better more of the year. The other thing that's kind of a new rule that only applies to like really Utah right now, but if you are doing home away meets that are like really close to home, there's a lot of these podium meets that people are doing now. They love it because it gives you the experience of postseason very early. But if you have too many of those, they start counting as home meets. You're in the same city of where you train and practice. They're saying, okay, you can do one of those, but anymore, it's got to be a home meet.
They increased the number of competitors to 20 athletes, which we all like. More athletes getting to go to the NCAA regionals. Is Cal, gosh, they were so close in 2024 to the national championship. They were right there, and they have had such a strong program. After you kind of look at the history of Cal in the 2000s, the early 2010s, they were ranked between like 30 and 50. And the last 7-8 years, they've been at least, at worst, at minimum in the top 11.
It's wild to see the progression of this program. At one point, it wasn't even a program, and for them to then be competing for a national title, it just shows the commitment of the coaches, the athlete, this community. Everyone had to rally to make that possible.
And Coach Stack Eaton, she's used to national championships, won 2 team ones, 2 individual ones during her time at Alabama.
And she was a standout athlete, but the thing we talked about with her on the call was confidence was not something she always had, and that's one of her philosophies that she's focusing on with this team, is you've got to believe in yourself. And that, when we talk about going to be second and like what does it take to go from second to actually taking home the title, you got to believe that you're the best team in the room every single time you get there.
She made a point to reach out to all the alumni. Malazan said 52nd year of Cal Gymnastics. NC State, I mean, they've been to 34 straight postseasons, one of the most consistent programs in the country. And Katie Harper ready on the beam. Casey, what are they looking for, the judges on the beam?
Well, they're looking for perfection, as always. When you look at those skills, anytime you have a bobble, a wobble, those are the obvious deductions, but there's a lot of things in there that you might not see. The connections. Are you having a rhythm between your skills to get the bonus? They want to see it all.
Harper, career best, 9.775 against Clemson last week on the beam.
Oh, and off on that very first opening series. Just like we saw with Abby Scanlon, she did not have the height she needed to finish that layout step out.
And now the pressure is on for the Wolfpack on the beam.
And that is a hard beam lineup to have. When you have a fall on the first one, everyone feels it, and they know they don't have a gimme. Every routine counts. She's coming back strong, though. Like I said, you have to fight through the back half of a routine, even if you fall. It's so hard when it's the first element that you fall on. But if they have more falls in the back half, they don't want to have to count a super low score, because, like I said, this might fall into their NQS.
Some of the points of emphasis on the floor. Annalise Numanacci about ready to go. What are the judges looking for other than perfection? on the floor.
Other than perfection, difficulty. You've got to have the skills. If it's not in those tumbling passes, it's got to be in the leaps. You got to perform. You got to show it off.
9.775, the career best for Numinachi. Has competed for the Trinidad and Tobago national team, competed at the 2022 World Championships.
Starts with that wolf turn on the floor. You can see she wears a dance shoe. Just covers the front ball of her foot to allow her to get that turn. Opens with the Rudy to a double stag. Lots of power. You saw her arms wave a little. They could take for lack of control in that jump. Coming in for this pass. 1.5, front lay. That was a controlled landing. And taking a break. She's had a long day. She deserves the rest at the end of that floor routine.
But she won the bars with a 9.875 and opens it up with a strong routine for Cal on the floor.
As we look to the pass, Rudy does that seg leap. A little flicker of doubt. If you give the judges the chance to doubt something, they might be writing down a deduction on the sheet. But here, there was no doubt. So confident through that step forward. That's what you want to see for a controlled landing.
And Numinachi, you mentioned it's been a long day for her. She completed the all-around. Here's Carolyn Volk on the beam at a 9.775 against Clemson after Harper's 9.225. Here's Volk.
Now she has a difficult triple series, back handspring, layout, step out, great control. Every skill you do can be 1 degree more to the left. If you do 3 skills, it's a higher chance you're gonna be off by the end. Lots of bonus from that series though. Oh, she fought for that. You saw her chest drop forward. She's got to keep her composure. Solid through the front toss. Just lining up for the dismount now. Ooh, squeezing. Oh, I call that a little bit of a college stick, but that was a good routine to get them back on track.
Numinachi, a 9.8 on the floor. Jaden Silvers at a 9.75 in her debut on the floor this year, the best of the West.
When we talk about athletes who have stepped up this season, her and Sage Smokonian both earned a scholarship this year for what they've been doing for this program. And stepping into a new role on floor is one of those reasons. Round off double tuck. She controls it. Usually you'll see a back handspring before those double saltos. It's harder to control sometimes the landing when you do it out of a round off. You have a lot of momentum taking you back. She did a good job there. controlled on that combination pass. 1.5 to a Barani. Into the stag. They are happy with that one.
It was a 10th lead coming into this, 1/10 lead coming into this final rotation for Cal, and it's looked very good through 2 routines on each side for the Bears.
You can see here that combination pass, lots of twisting, lots of flipping, and then you have to control it all to the leap at the end. Good work from Jaden Silvers.
You see on our tower, it's a lead for NC State for the moment, but once Silver's score goes up, Cal's gonna retake the lead in terms of the duel. Here's Autumn Raridan, who's had a very nice day so far. The 9.825 on the floor for Raridan, 9.7 on the vault.
Coach Landris has been playing around with this lineup. A few different versions I've seen even this early in the season. You know, they might not get the score they want out of this meet because of those 2 low early ones, but these athletes in the back half need to make their case to stay in the lineup. So confident there. Like I said, you have to be aggressive on beam. The beam fights back and it senses your hesitation. Unique dismount, I love that. She does the split leap into the gainer pike off the end. Very beautiful, confident routine from a freshman.
Now, Autumn was the state champion on the beam in Ohio.
It shows, like I said earlier, she just looks like a very confident athlete across the board, and beam is the place where that confidence is going to give you the most value.
So in terms of the duel, you see Cal, now that each school has gotten 2 routines, and their lead is ballooned to about a point. CJ Konecki, floor specialist, 3 times 9.9 or better on the floor in her Cal career.
Rudy to a layout, step out, huge amplitude on that second skill. They changed her opening pass this season. Last year she was doing a double fold to a front pike. I'll say, quote unquote, watered it down to this, but she performs it so exquisitely. I am not mad. Her second pass here, 1.5. Barani, control on that jump. That straddle jump was what you want to see at the end of those passes. No arms wavering. That's the momentum they're looking for. Really great landings across the board. She hit the leaps, she hit the jumps. They're gonna be building and building. They gotta take this home.
Cal came into the weekend 40th in floor, and they've been so strong through 3 performances.
Yeah, and like I said, they have a great ceiling here, but they have not shown it yet this season.
It's been their weakest event for the season, but today it has been outstanding. So speaking of outstanding, Raridan with a 9.8, and here's Maddie Hall, open the year on the beam at Auburn. It's her second performance on the beam here in 2026.
Really solid to open this up. Last week she was in the exhibition slot and actually had the highest score. They wish that she would have been in the lineup, so she proved herself to be in there this week. You see her take a deep breath before that skill. Athletes might have a cue for certain things, whether it's a word they might say to themselves. A deep breath, that helps you stay consistent and performing the same every time. Great routine from Maddie. We'll look back here. See, she takes that deep breath, focus herself. The thing about beam is you have to do it the same every single time. Slight hop back, but she proved why she got the slot in this lineup that she has.
A freshman for the Bears, Sarah Lee. She's performed in all 3 events, just the beam counted. She did exhibition for vault and bars, but she's pretty much doing it all arounds. Just only 2 of them will count towards Cal's team score.
Exactly, but it feels like the all-around to her. If you have to go and do those events at the end, it's almost harder sometimes to exhibition. If we run out of time in warm-up, the exhibition doesn't get to warm up, and you got to go cold. Lots of power on that double tuck. You see that bound back. Same amplitude on those jumps. Not only did they hit the 180, they were high off the ground. Fights through the front pike landing there. Getting that energy you need at the end of the meet from your teammates. Third pass, double pike, puts it to her feet.
Sarah Lee, the freshman from Southern California, had a 9.55 last week at Pin on the Floor. This one will be better.
Definitely. You can see this pike. She really fought for that landing. If you take a step back, that's when the judges are going to deduct on those front passes. And this double pike, that's where the endurance really comes into play.
Pretty special moment. Carolyn Stackine, her first meet as the head coach at Berkeley, and Sarah Lee, her first ever meet as a competitor. Here's Tackett after Hall's 9.725.
She starts with that split 3/4. I would love to see a little more extension up to 180 there. That's a place where I think the judges will be deducting. She has the flexibility. You're going to see it later. There is the most gorgeous scale I've ever seen in my entire life in this routine. Solid on that flight series. Again, I'd love to see that leg a little higher on her leaps. I know she has the flexibility there, but she is being very solid. She is staying on the beam. Look here. Look at that flexibility, that extension. Incredible. Sticks the 1.5. like I said, a few places maybe she could improve, but that is such a strong routine. So much potential in there. Watching here through that back handspring, layout step out perfectly squared and center. And oh, if I could take a picture of that and frame it on my wall, I think I would.
Madison Tackett had a 9.725 last week at Reynolds Coliseum. Cal went to Reynolds Coliseum last year. They won 197.175 to 196.55, but it was a special meet for NC State. That was their first ever sellout at Reynolds Coliseum. Kyle McHugh, the experienced junior on the floor, had a 9.9 in the floor in the NCAA Championship Finals back in 2024.
Ryan starts with a front double full, punch front. A lot of power on that. She is an athlete that excels on the leg events, vault and floor. One and a half. Oh, misses the timing on that combination. Was supposed to do a front full in the laid out position. Again, she has great air awareness. She tucked it in, almost made it around, but that was an impossible miss to come back from. So that is gonna count as a fall. They were pulling away with it, but you can't lose focus for even half a second. And here's that last one. You can watch the bound there. Just missed it. No chance of landing on her feet.
So tough for Cal, but an opportunity. The door open for NC State and their superstar, Sanaya Thomas, on the beam. She won the beam last week with a 9.8 at home against Clemson.
And if there's someone I want on the beam with ice in their veins, it's Sanaya. Front aerial, back handspring, working through it, very methodical. That straddle position is gorgeous, like full 180 plus. Cat leap into the side aerial. Really good correction there. She worked through it, let her arms bring her back to the right position. Back handspring, gainer full off the side, sticks the landing. They just put themselves in a position that I didn't think they could be in. And I also have to shout out Caroline Volk. She stayed on the beam when she could have fallen. That could be the difference here. Side aerial wobbles. You see, uses the arms to bring her back to that position. But here, no question, on the stuck landing, excellent.
Thomas had a 9.825 on the vault, a 9.85 on the floor. We await her score on the beam as NC State, they've cut it to 3/10. The advantage for Cal, pressure's on for Tanya Paulson.
And Tanya is a competitor. Coach Zach Eaton said last week, she wasn't even sure they were going to use her on floor, but Tanya said, I want to go out. She's been dealing with a little bit of pain, and I know she is a gamer. Ooh. Really fought through that. Didn't have the best step out on that front tuck, but had so much set. The set is when you come off the floor right before that double tuck, so she had a ton of height. That wolf position is what I want to see. The leg at horizontal. Just the lines here. Even the toe point in that kick, it's gorgeous. Double pike, can she put it to her feet? Oh, is flirting with the line there. I'm looking around, I did not see the judges raise their hand. Of course, on the line is in, over the line is out. You could see she knew she was gonna be close. She did a very small lunge. That is a classic move from someone who knows where they are. Watch here, that punch front, a little crooked, almost coming out of that step, but she pulls in so tight for that double tuck. And here, double pike, pulls back, watch this lunge, right, flirting with the edge, almost the heel. Oh, I'd have to have binoculars, maybe a microscope to tell on that one.
So Paulson completes the all-around, a 9.775 on the vaults. She had a 9.75 on the bars. We await her floor score. And on the beam, it was her strongest event, a 9.825. This is an exhibition event for NC State as we await Tanya Paulson's score.
And when you had 1.5 falls in your lineup and you're in the exhibition, now is your chance to show that you should have been the one there.
9.875 for Paulson, and that clinches the duel as Paulson wins the floor 196.050 to 195.575. It's a win for Cal as they improved to 2-0 in the ACC.
I thought it was going to come down to floor, if I'm being honest. Cal had the opportunity in their hand and they seized it. It was close at the end, but of course, their veteran, their freshman veteran, I'll say, Tanya Paulson, came through with exactly what they needed, exactly when they needed it. She also won the all-around.
Cal came off of a 195.55 at Pitt, a much stronger performance today.
Yeah, they looked really good in this second half of this meet. I think that first rotation, they have some places to improve. A little bit of those landings and details. Of course, opportunity to get those more difficult start values on vault, but they will be happy with this.
49.1 on the floor. That bests their 49.075 they had at the Sprouts in the Salt Lake City area. So that's the best of the year for Cal on the floor. Casey Brown with an exhibition here for Cal.
I'm excited to see this routine. Casey's one that, like we said before, has been training all around her entire time at Cal, but we have not had the opportunity to see her outside of primarily vault and bars. But she's a gorgeous floor worker, front bounder into that Rudy. Usually you see them step into that front handspring. She does it from a punch. Really unique.
Casey won the vault 9.85, and then she was exhibition on the beam. She competed on the bars as well, so kind of like a couple of her teammates. She's doing the all-around. Not all of them count, but she's doing the all-around.
Difficult ring position in both of those leaps. Again, an athlete who's a little bit taller and uses it to her advantage. She really shows off those long lines. 1.5, granny, straddle control. Excellent routine from Casey Brown. She's making a case to get in that lineup.
Now Cal improves to 2-0 in the ACC as they defeat NC State 196.050 to 195.575. Don't go anywhere. We'll have our gymnast of the meet in just a bit. Cal victorious in the Haas debut of Geraldine Stack-Eaton. Home dual meet for Geraldine Stack Eaton in charge of the Cal Bears. The big reason why the Bears were victorious was the all-around performance from Annalise Newman-Achi. Annalise, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
A first time doing the all-around here at Cal at Haas. How'd it feel?
It felt really amazing just to be able to go out in front of like my environment, my home, and be able to show everything that I'm capable of. So I'm really happy that I got that opportunity.
And Annalise, that bar routine, especially the landing, I saw you soaking it in. You were holding
Yeah.
it. How did it feel?
It felt just amazing because this past week I've really been focusing on my landings in the gym, really been honing on just like holding it for 3 seconds and just making sure I put it where I want it. So I'm really happy I was able to do that today.
So many great gymnasts left the program and graduated. A couple of them, thankfully, are here with you. But
Yeah.
what's it been like having an increased role this year?
It's been, amazing to be able to have that opportunity to step up. Everything, pressure is a privilege. So I'm just really grateful to be able to, step up and show what I'm capable of. And I'm really happy that a lot of other new faces are really showing, their role here on the team. So it's amazing.
And Annalise, you've been stepping up. Everyone has. But what are your goals this year? What are you looking forward maybe in the next few weeks or maybe at the end of the season?
Yeah, I have huge goals. I really would like to be All-American, of course, and then also just like, us as a team go to regionals and nationals and continue to just push it every week, get higher and higher, and, push ourselves to the limit. So I'm really excited.
Congratulations on the victory.
Thank
and
you
a
so
great
much.
job.
Thank you.
That was our gymnast in the meets, Annalise Newman-Achi, with our analyst, Casey Magnuson. She won the bars.
She won the bars, and she sent it home with this huge pull in, stuck the landing, no doubts there. And you could tell she liked it from the moment her feet hit the map. But she didn't stop there. She competed in the all-around. All four event at the very end of the meet. They needed some hits. They needed to take it home, and Annalise showed up. She started with this 1.5, so much power, fought for the landing there, and of course, finished it off with a cool and breezy step forward. She is a superstar.
It was just a 1/10 lead for Cal going into the final rotation. But Annalise Newman-Achi with that 9-8 to lead off the floor set the tone. Here are some of the standouts from today's meet.
And you see they were all on the edge of a 9-9. I think these athletes on the screen can go 9-9 plus.
Well, coming up next, in terms of Cal, they'll have Stanford. They'll go across the bay. Casey will be on that broadcast. Then they'll go across the country to face off with Clemson. It's not a lot of home meets at the start of this season. We'll have the broadcast for you here on ACC Network Extra at the near the end of February. And then Cal has 3 home meets in March.
You would think they'd want to go to the East Coast when it's a little bit warmer out, maybe wait till the end of the year, but they're starting off cool.
It's a Cal team that has high expectations for this year. It was tight going into that final rotation, but a strong performance, a season best performance for Cal on the floor. Clinches this one against NC State. For our analyst, Casey Magnuson, and our entire crew, my name is Tim Swartz. We're back for more Cal Gymnastics on Friday, January 30th, as Casey will be there. They face number 9 Stanford at Maples Pavilion. To watch this entire duel on replay, check out the ACC Network Extra on the ESPN app. So long from Berkeley.